It is Thursday, April 18th. The NFL Draft is exactly 1 week away. Let's project what the Cowboys will do in the first 3 rounds.
And now, a word from our title sponsor.
Are all financial advisors fiduciaries? Fewer than you think. Not knowing could reduce your lifestyle. Hi, I'm Mitch Kramer, founder and CEO of Fluent Financial. A fiduciary is a regulatory term to reduce conflicts of interest in wealth management. A fiduciary always works in your best interest. A non-fiduciary advisor might put their compensation or company ahead of yours. At Fluent Financial, we are certified financial planners acting as fiduciary advisors. To learn more, go to fluentfinancial.com or Fluent Financial's YouTube channel.
There's been a significant development in your laundry room. Laundry detergent sheets, not dryer sheets, but the same concept. Paper thin, remarkably efficient. Just toss one into your load of clothes and voila! Sparkling clean and smelling great. And as a plus, they're hypoallergenic for those with sensitive skin. Plastic jugs of detergent. Jugs that just wind up in trash heaps. It's easy to get your laundry detergent sheets. Just go to the link in today's podcast episode.
Introducing Star Power Smart Home Solutions, where cutting-edge technology meets effortless living. Control your entire home with just a tap on your smartphone. Adjust the lights, set the perfect temperature, and ensure your home is secure, all from the palm of your hand. Star Power has the experts that will transform your house into a secure, smart home. Experience the ultimate solution in comfort and security for your family. Get started at GetStarPower.com. Star Power, where innovation meets home.
About the Cowboys draft, let me tell you something. This is very, very dangerous because the Cowboys are drafting for need. They need so many things that virtually, at least with the high picks, they're going to address holes. I hate to say this, but the best way to draft is to let the draft come to you. Let players go down the board as your pick arrives, and then voila. It may not be the player you want, but it may be the best player left on the board. And drafting for need, on the other hand, can get you in trouble. The Cowboys have so many holes. Let's look at the biggest ones. Number 1, offensive line. In fact, that may be number 1 and number 2. Next, a number 1 running back. Yes, the Cowboys signed veteran Royce Freeman off the street a couple of days ago, but he's not the answer. Royce Freeman's been in this league 6 years, and this'll be his 5th team in his 7th season. Last year, he carried the ball 77 times for the Rams and gained 319 yards. That's not bad for a number 2 runner. He was the Rams' number 2 runner. But the Cowboys don't need a number 2 runner. They've got so many candidates for the number 2 runner. There's young Malik Davis. There's Deuce Vaughn. There's Snoop Connor. And waiting in the wings, just hoping they'll call, are Zeke Elliott and Dalvin Cook. The Cowboys need a number 1 runner. The guy that's going to take the ball 15, 18, 22 times in a game. Freeman last year, in 17 games, he carried the ball 77 times. That's right at 4.5 carries a game. He's a backup. Okay, let's go to the third need. I think this would be linebacker. But let me tell you, I've got another hunch for a need for this club. I'm not at all certain that the young backups here, Ball, Waletzko, Asim Richards from the offensive line, have any future. Maybe a couple of undrafted kids, Bass and Brockman do, Brock Hoffman do, but the Cowboys may need 2 offensive linemen. We'll get to that in a second. But Here's the difficulty. You're drafting players that you want to step right in and start for you. And you know what? Bleep happens in the NFL. Look at the Cowboys' first 3 draft picks last year. Mozzie Smith was supposed to step in to defensive tackle. He didn't step in anywhere. Luke Schoonmaker was supposed to take over tight end from Jake Ferguson. He didn't. He looks like a career backup now. And the third choice, Overshown, got hurt. Look at how little the Cowboys got from the first 3 picks last year. They absolutely cannot afford that kind of non-production this year. And that means there's pressure. Pressure to not only find players, but to find players that can start right away. Now, the Cowboys may have a few bucks left over to sign a couple of off-the-street free agents still. But this draft is going to determine where the Cowboys go with that street money. Because these kids have to play. First round. The Cowboys so desperately need an offensive lineman. There'll be one there. It's an almost take your choice. Graham Barton from Duke is very versatile. He started at tackle, but his future in the league is at guard or center. He'd be a fine choice. I personally like Johnson Powers Jackson, the center from Ohio State. I honestly believe he'll start at center for whoever takes him for the next 10 to 12 years. And then there's Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. Good player. And let me tell you, one of those 3 is certain to be there. Maybe 2 of the 3 will be there. Maybe. Probably only 2 of the 3 will be there. But Barton or Johnson Powers Jackson, I have a tendency to call him Jackson Powers Johnson. But anyway, JPJ, they'll be there. That would be my first choice, one of those 2. Second round. Where do you find a number 1 runner? See, that's the problem for the Cowboys. There are very, very, very few number 1 runners in this draft. The best of them is Jonathan Brooks from Texas. The problem is he's hurt. He had to have surgery, repair a knee. Now, by all reports, he'll be ready for training camp. But again, you're asking a rookie coming off a major injury to carry your load next year. But if he's there, I think the Cowboys have to give a certain look at him. They have to. But if he's not there, what if he's gone off the board? What if the Eagles, like they like to do, always jump in front of the Cowboys and take somebody? What if they do it again and take him off the board or somebody else does? Well, the Cowboys can hope the linebacker from Texas A&M, Adrian Cooper, gets there. But you know what? The Cowboys pick is number 56. The way I look at this draft, Adrian Cooper goes off the draft board 10, 12 picks earlier than that, hoping he slides all the way to 56. In the draft, hope is not a strategy. And in my look at the draft, unfortunately, both Brooks and Cooper have a chance to be off the board. What do the Cowboys do then? Tell you what I'd do. I'd draft another offensive lineman. I'd repair this offensive line this year. Now, where do they go with the third round pick? Well, the first 2 runners, Brooks, a runner from Florida State, and Trey Benson, they'll be off the board before the pick in the third round, which is number 87. I think the Wisconsin runner, Braylon Allen, will be available at 87. I'm just not certain if the Cowboys regard him as a number 1 runner. So what if the Cowboys don't draft a runner? Wait a minute. Maybe there's a good linebacker there. Wait a minute. Maybe there's a good wide receiver there. Have you considered wide receiver? Talented wide receivers tend to slide, meaning that maybe a wide receiver who could go in the late second round or early third slides all the way to the Cowboys in the late third. But why wide receiver, you say? Well, Gallup's gone. Brandon Cooks is in the last year of his contract here. I don't think anybody's certain that Jalen Tolbert's going to step up and be a solid number 3. I think there's a hole there. But holes, there are holes everywhere. We haven't talked defensive tackle. Cowboys really need one of those. We haven't talked defensive end. And though the Cowboys don't say much about this, I think they really need one of those. See, what you got here is a team that's approaching the draft and has 5 or 6 significant holes. It's just hard to ask a draft to fill more than half of those. Now, the Cowboys do have some later picks, but we're talking much later. When the Cowboys pick at number 87, they will wait 86 more picks before they make a late 5th round pick. And then they have a late 6th round pick, which I think is the 216th player off the board, and then a couple of seventh rounders. What are you looking for there? You're looking for anything to help your club. Depth at linebacker, depth at defensive end, depth at defensive tackle. There you are certainly taking the best player available. After this draft is over, will Cowboy fans be satisfied that the team is fixed? No. It's impossible to fill all the holes. But maybe the Cowboys can sign a couple of veterans and go forward. For instance, let's say they drafted Barton and made him a center with the first pick, Graham Barton. Well, then Andres Pete, the veteran guard from New Orleans, is still out there. If you could draft Graham and sign Pete, it would pretty much repair your offensive line. So the Cowboys do have some possibilities after the draft. But the draft itself, it can't fill all the holes the Cowboys have.
Today's episode brought to you by Fluent Financial, Retire Sooner, Better Lifestyle, and by Star Power, Love Where You Live.
Just Wondering is a production of DSP Media for FanStream Sports. You can find Norm's show along with other great programming at fanstreamsports.com.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, hit follow. And every weekday, a fresh new episode of Just Wondering will be delivered right to you. And if you enjoy this podcast, please share it with a friend. Finally, should you have questions or comments, please share them with us by going to X and our address at Norm's Clubhouse. That's Just Wondering with Norm Hitzges. And every day, I'll be just wondering about something.
And I'm Mary Hitchkus, and I'm just wondering too.